Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into the Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show. It's game day, baby. I didn't wear any Florida State stuff today. Anyway, I can't believe I didn't represent today. What the hell was I thinking? I mean, this is the Cheez-It Bowl, baby. This is the Cheez-It Bowl. Let's go. I saw this thing on Barstool Sports, Barstool FSU this morning, of some dude waking everybody up in his frat house just going nuts because it was game day. It was a little explicit, so I really couldn't retweet that. But good morning to everyone. It is game day here, and we got a big football game tonight on the NFL as well. Oh, man, I cannot wait to see Malik Willis and half the Titans roster go up against the mighty Cowboys tonight. So that's Thursday Night Football, Amazon Football. Can't wait for that either. Good morning, Nick Geddes. How are you?
I'm doing great here on a Thursday in a nice Tampa Bay. The weather going back to warm, which is so much welcome to me.
I know the most beautiful morning ever.
It really was. And yesterday was a beautiful day. Got out and finally played golf.
Oh, that's right. That was a
beautiful
good
weather.
Day
great
yesterday.
Golfing day.
Yeah. I had a project I'm working on editing, and I was inside editing all day long. I was like,
I know, but you did have your partner in crime, though.
I did. Yep, Tally. Yeah, I took Tally at my Tally's got a limp. She's got a little limp on her right paw.
Oh,
it's still like it's come and gone for like a couple of weeks now, but now she's really starting to limp on.
Maybe it's the cold weather. I mean,
that's what I was thinking.
Your frail bones can't take it.
I know,
anymore,
right?
And apparently hers can't either.
I feel you, Daryl. Let's go. I feel you, dog, because you're a dog. So I gotta take her to the vet, make sure she's okay. But no, it's been beautiful weather. I want to get out and play so bad. Yesterday, I had our usual Wednesday game in the afternoon at Palmacia, but duty calls. You got to work. You got to do your thing. So, and we got a lot to get to on today's show. We got a great show for you. Pat Burnham's going to join us live from the Cheez-It Bowl at 10:30 in Orlando. Talk a little FSU-Oklahoma. I guess you'd still call them blue blood programs, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah,
if Nebraska still qualifies as one, then these two teams do too.
I think Nebraska's been crossed off. I mean, it's been less than a decade since FSU's won a national championship, so I think you're still in the club.
Oklahoma's in that window too.
And I think Oklahoma, they've been in the playoffs, so they're still in that club. But so that goes down tonight. We'll talk about that. Scott Carter will join us at 11 o'clock. We'll catch up with our Jeeves Law Group Gator report and get a feel for what happened in recruiting with the Gators and what this football team looks like moving forward, because it's a bit of a mystery. It's a bit of a mystery what's going on in Florida. Do they have momentum? Do they not have momentum? I mean, obviously the bowl situation, didn't help this team at all, except giving Jack Miller some reps, getting a look at him. So we'll find out from Scott Carter what's going on with the Gators, because they had a pretty good recruiting year. They've got some good players coming in. This is Billy Napier's, I guess, first real recruiting class. He's had a whole recruiting cycle to work on it. So they did a pretty good job. So we'll go down that with Scott Carter. Brian Bradley will join me at 11:30 or join us at 11:30 to talk about the Lightning's big win over Montreal last night. And Brayden Point. Brayden effing Point. He's starting to do a little Connor McDavid stuff. Like this is like, this is getting to elite level scoring goals here. I mean, we had the one against the Kraken a couple weeks ago where he was at full speed and just went through three guys, and then just an unbelievable roof of the shot. Then last night, he kind of just takes the puck away at the blue line, goes through four. Count them 1, 2, 3, 4 Montreal Canadiens, and then has a sweet shot, lifts it up over Jake Allen, who played pretty well last night. The Lightning probably should have had about 7 goals. Since I had the over at 6, that would have been nice. But I did have the over 1.5 in the first period, so we did win that. But wow, Brayden Point is just putting together a hell of a season right now. 18 and 19 goals last night. So he got 2 goals last night, another highlight reel goal, and even the power play goal that he had with great pass from Kucherov, Sergei to Kucherov, a feathery pass right on Point stick, and he just hits it up in the top corner that was one hell of a shot as well. So Brayden Point starting to put himself, I think, among the elite. And boy, I tell you what, do you not just go back to the final and go,
Yep.
damn, man. I mean, everybody's got injuries. I get it. But when you lose your best player, I don't think we talked enough about that. And that's great that the Lightning didn't talk about it. I get it. Injuries are part of the game. But, man, I'm sorry. If Brayden Point plays that series, I mean, is it fair to Colorado to say that the Lightning win it? No. But come on. It
might be a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit closer.
Yeah. You think?
Yeah.
You think? Yeah. Yeah. So I like the way this team is playing now. They had a couple of stinkers right before Christmas, but they got back to it. And tonight, here come the Rangers, who are coming off an embarrassing loss to Washington, where Gerard Gallant got up their ass pretty good after that game. So they're going to be rested and ready coming in here tonight. So this is going to be a hell of a hockey game tonight. I'm looking forward to it. There'll probably be a ton of Rangers fans. I'm told the house is actually super packed tonight. You can't get a seat in there. So hope you got a ticket. If you don't, you probably can still get one on the secondary market, but come on down because it's going to be one hell of a fight tonight against the Rangers. So Brian Bradley will join us at 11:30, and we'll talk some Lightning hockey. But we'll start off with the Bucs this morning. The injury report this year, it's like getting the orange crop report from Trading Places. Let's see what's going on. Who's hurt? Who's out there? So the bad news is, we'll start with the bad news this morning. Vita Vea was not out there. That's not good. That's not good against the Panthers team that wants to come in here and physically dominate the game with their run game with Devontae Foreman. And they're coming in here to smash mouth the Buccaneers. And without Vita Vea, this team looks really, really light up front. It looks really, really light up front. You don't have the beefy defensive ends, obviously, in this defense. The linebackers, Nassib is back. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to play, but it's just not an overly large team. Hicks is playing. That's good. But if Vita Vea does not play, that's going to be really hard for this team to stop the run, just quite frankly. And if they can't stop the run, everything flows from that. If the Panthers can control the football, Darnold has done enough in the passing game now. They've won 4 of their last 6. These aren't like dominating wins that Carolina's getting. They lost to the Steelers a couple weeks ago. It's not like they're this great football team. Their defense has been playing well lately, but it's still ranked in the 20s. The only thing they really, really do well is run the football. And unfortunately, that's kind of an Achilles heel for the Bucs right now, especially with Vita Vea out.
Yeah, that's a position that I feel like they've been wanting a lot more than what they've gotten, because Vita Vea has been kind of in and out of the lineup. Yeah. And when you have those kind of injuries, it kind of limits your effectiveness. Mm-hmm. And as we've mentioned, it's just not the same, the guy next to him. Yeah. I mean, say what you want about Ndamukong Suh, but he was available, and I thought generally he did a really good job and even added something from a pass rushing standpoint. Akeem Hicks, being honest, has been a bit of a flop. Yeah. He's been a bit of a flop. I mean, there's just times where it looks like he's just completely invisible. Even Will Golston, I'm not counting on Will Golston to be a big impact guy, but
he hasn't had as good a year as he did last year.
No,
that's for sure.
Last year was like a career year. Yeah. This year he's been quiet. So you've had to play a lot of Nacho. You've had to play a little bit of Sanat in there. I mean, those guys do what they can, but nowhere near the caliber of a Vita Vea.
No. And when Vita Vea has been in there and Akeem Hicks, and when Vita has been right, because he's been nicked up all year, and you kind of like, I hate to say this about Vita Vea, but he's so freaking big that I think we're going to have calf injuries, foot injuries, lower body injuries are going to be something that he's dealing with. When you're 350 pounds and you run like he runs, he's a freak of an athlete. And it's when you're that big and that strong, you carry that much weight. It just, the joints are the joints, and it's going to be an issue. And unfortunately, he has not been available as much as we would like him to be available. As Ndamukong Suh never missed a game. Yeah. Vita Vea is just not as durable. I mean, Ndamukong Suh is a freak. I mean, he's a freak of nature. But he just, Vita Vea has not been available. And if he's not available this week, it's really, really going to hurt this defense. It's really going to hurt this defense in the run game. So to me, that's the key player. The good news is Tristan Wirfs was back, said he felt fantastic. I don't know. That was probably a little bit of a sarcastic side, a comment, but whatever. He says he's feeling fantastic. He's going to play. Regardless, he's going to play. That's great news. Donovan Smith was back at practice, so we're expecting him to play this week. Leonard Fournette looked good, although we haven't really determined. He's not on the injury report, right? So does he have a Liz Frank injury? That thing that he tweeted out, was that just was he in his feels?
Well,
People were criticizing him. He was
as quick as he tweeted it out, as quick as it was deleted. So
I still got it though. Somebody sent it to me.
Yeah.
Or should I retweet it? No, I'm not gonna do that. But no, that's what he said. That's what he said. So hopefully Rachaad White will get more touches than him this week. Is there a chance that that's going to happen? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if this correlates at all. But the only game that Rachaad White got 20 plus carries this year, 22. He went for 105 in the rushing category, and the Bucs played their best football game against Seattle. The correlation? I mean, if you were a coaching staff and you looked at a number like that, I mean, I don't know. And the guy rips off an 18-yard run I just might tinker a little bit, do something different. Let's give Rachaad White 20 carries this week. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I got 15 game sample size of, we're not recognizing those things.
That's right. Screw it.
So
screw it. Should we ask Byron that today?
You can ask, but I don't know if you're going to get the answer you're looking for.
What do you think we'll get? Give me a Byron Leftwich. You've watched them all. You got a good Byron.
Well, he started.
Let's roll.
He started to change a little bit. Beginning of the year was we do the best thing that we think for that down and for that play to get the job done. That was his de facto answer the first half of the season. His new one is this. That's just football, man. That's how it goes sometimes.
It's just football.
That's just football.
So if we're doing a little role playing here. So the only time Rashaad's gotten 20 plus carries, 22 carries, you guys played your best game. You averaged over 5. You get 5 yards of carry. You very balanced offense. You beat Seattle. And then Lenny out touches him 29-11 last game, even though clearly Rachaad was feeling it. How do you justify not giving this guy 20 carries in a game when your best offensive performance was when he carried the load?
Well, we look at it like we got two running back ones on this team.
Oh, very good. 2
running back ones on this team. And, sometimes that's just football, man. We come in here and believe it or not, we feel like we have the best game plan to win that game, to win that down. And we do what we feel is the best in the moment.
Don't forget it's about points.
It's about points. I'm a scoring points guy. You can't win the football game unless you score more points than the other team.
Oh, let me write that down. Score more points. Oh, that's a good one. Was good. Congratulations.
And the follow-up should be, okay, well, you gave Leonard Fournette 30 touches and you had 6 points through the first 50-something minutes of the game. So
yeah, but we won the game.
But you won the game.
Yeah, we won the game. That's all that matters. But you only scored 19 points against the worst scoring defense in football. But we won. We scored more points than the other team.
There's a lot that goes into that, and you, frankly, you just wouldn't understand. And I'm not going to get up here and go through all of it and bore you with the schematics, even though we want that information. But we're not going to bore you with that.
Thank you for not boring us. I appreciate that. That's good. So we'll see what happens this week. Lenny's and we're not ripping on Lenny. This just he played his ass off last week and played really.
No,
really hard.
I want him to be a part of the offense,
sure.
right? I mean, the play of the game, one of the plays of the season for the Bucs was honestly early in the game when he got pushed by 10 guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I love seeing the fight from the team right there and Lenny keeping the legs moving. That was one of the plays of the season, in my opinion, by the offense.
Yeah.
I just feel like
he's a great change up to Rachaad.
Even if you got those guys get a near 50-50 split, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I've seen the games where Leonard gets that kind of workload and it feels like he's a bit fresher.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it benefits the offense more in general. I'm not asking for Rachaad White to get 90% of the snaps.
No. Well, I don't think that would kill anybody, but
I think it would work as well, but I'm not asking
for that. It worked really well. I saw it in Seattle. Worked pretty well. All right, and CD3, Carlton Davis has a shoulder injury. He did not practice, which is interesting. Jamel Dean did practice. So, and Ryan Jensen. Ryan Jensen was in pads, but he's not going to play this week. And no chance that he plays this week, which is good. And again, what do you hope for Ryan Jensen? That hopefully, he can come back and maybe get some snaps. They win this week. I think this would be the perfect scenario for Ryan Jensen. Because let's be honest, something different has to happen for this team to do anything in the playoffs, right? You might want to say, well, is it really worth Ryan Jensen coming out there? Yeah, I think it is. I mean, they've worked on this for 6 months. He's been rehabbing his injury for 6 months to get back for late in the season playoffs. And he's definitely a humongous advantage. So hell yes. What I would like to see is him practice this week. And if things go well, if they win against the Panthers, then next week you rest most everybody, but I get him some snaps next week. I don't want him going into a playoff game, having not played in a game all year long on a knee that he doesn't know what he's going to get. Yeah. I think you have to get out there and play 2 or 3 series, even if it is with Blaine Gabbert, because I think you probably rest Brady in that game. And just get him out there and see how he looks and see how he feels, get his wind up a little bit, right? Because he's not going to be coming in and out of the game in a playoff game. Yep. So I would definitely get him some snaps. And if he gets hurt in that game or it doesn't go well, then you can say that's what have happened in the playoff game. So you don't want that happening there. So it's not for nothing. It's not for nothing. I think that's what, and hopefully I think that's what the Bucs are probably thinking, and see where it goes. And if they can get him back, and we don't know what the tackle situation is going to be. You may need a tackle in the playoffs if Murph can't make it through this game, or Donovan Smith. But it gives you some flexibility there, and maybe for dadgummit, if the Cowboys come in here, they're like, holy, Ryan Jensen's out there, and now you start running the football, and everything's working a little bit better. There's just a pickup of energy, a pickup of emotion, a change of tempo. That's something that this team needs. Yeah. It needs some juice. Yeah. And even if a Hainsey is a guy who I think has done fairly a good job there in that center position. I'm not saying he deserves to lose his starting job by any means, but it's Ryan freaking Jensen. It's just a little bit different there. But the advantage is that this guy has, and I'm talking about Hainsey here, has experience playing that tackle position. Mm-hmm. So who knows? Maybe you have him as an option as a swing tackle. Maybe you have Gedeke as an option as that swing. I mean, I don't really want to see Luke Gedeke in the game, but maybe that becomes Robert Hainsey's new role. I don't know. I mean, I know it's kind of tight to kind of figure out those things this late in the season and maybe take a little bit of those risks, but it's a risk. But at this point, you're dead in the water offensively. Yeah. You got to take risks at this point. You got to do something different. Believe it or not, if I'm Byron Leftwich, if I'm Todd Bowles, I'm thinking, you know what? We're really not settled on offense here. The defense is playing pretty good, but we're not settled on. We need some juice on offense. So whatever we can do to get some more juice, let's get some more juice. And if that's Ryan Jensen, and damn it if you don't bring juice, that's Ryan Jensen. So yeah, hell yeah, I'm taking risks on offense. Yes, I am. Because it can't get any worse. It can't get any worse. It really can't. Well, don't say that because it will. No, it can't. It can't get any worse. It can't get any. I mean, just even if they scored 3 points, I'd say it's worth the risk. It's worth the risk because you're not going anywhere with this team the way it is now. Offensively, you're not going anywhere. Sorry to tell you. All right, let's get to some of the sound from yesterday. Todd Bowles took the mic. We have a slug sheet here, or we just gonna play it? All right, let's slug it up. Well, it's all injuries, right? The first stuff. So let's get to the injury questions first. Yeah, we'll go through Ryan Jensen's return here. Okay, from Todd Bowles. That's good. What's going on?
Well, we don't have any expectations on him. It's part of his rehab process, but having him out there and seeing him out there is a big lift for the guys. And he was the anchor and he was the attitude guy when he was here. So just having him out there is a big lift.
Damn right. And that's what I'm talking about. Juice. Give you some juice because this team lacks juice. So hopefully Ryan can get back out there and give this team a little bit of a emotional lift. And certainly, if nothing else, does it give Brady more confidence in his line and let him trust the line a little bit more? Yeah, I mean, Lord, I hope so. Like I said, as much as I love what Robert Hainsey does, it's just clear that Brady doesn't have complete trust in everybody, and he has complete trust in Ryan Jensen. And as we said earlier this week, Ryan Jensen was one of the first phone calls that he made when he came out of free agency. He said, wait a second, what are you doing in free agency? Because I'm coming back. And then Ryan Jensen said, okay, well, I'm coming back then. Right. And then you lose that guy on the second day of training camp. It's just a blow. It's a complete blow to the team. It's a blow to Brady, and I'm sure his confidence in his line. And obviously there's a lot more going on around it, but just the juice, the spark, whatever word you want to use for it, just having him out there and even just having him at practice. That's what a lot of guys said. It just kind of uplifted them a little bit. Yeah, that big redhead
Yeah.
is definitely noticeable everywhere he goes. All right, let's talk about is this a playoff game? Todd Bowles, number 12.
Well, it is a playoff game. They need it and we need it, so it's essentially a playoff game. Our playoff game started last Sunday when we won, so this Sunday will be the same.
Damn right. Playoff game with the Carolina Panthers. You'd have taken that before the season, right?
Yeah, I would have taken my chances there. Just a little bit.
If you just said, you know what, you're going to be playing the Panthers for the NFC South week 17 with neither team being over 500, I wouldn't have taken that. But just, I guess, having a chance to win the division, I guess you got to realign your expectations.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's the thing I'm so conflicted is like I'm trying to use what my eyes are telling me. And my eyes are telling me that this is at best a mediocre football team.
Yeah.
If I had to say it, at best it's a mediocre. That's what my eyes tell me. That's what the numbers tell me. But again, the history of this franchise, the time that I've been watching this team, winning division titles, it don't happen much here.
No.
And no matter what it looks like.
And I believe this would be the first time they've ever won back-to-back division titles.
I mean, unless they won back-to-back at some point during the heyday with.
No, I think I read that the other day, which I was like, really? Okay.
That's a little surprising. The teams from 96 to 2003 never won?
I don't think so.
Wow.
No, because they were always going on the road to Philly.
Oh, that's before the dividitions were realigned.
Right,
that's right.
Yeah. So, So that's a feather in your cap. Yes. In this terrible division. Oh, I didn't see this one because I'm interested to see about the diagnosis of Ryan Jensen. Has the swelling gone down?
Lower your excitement here.
Has the swelling gone down? I'm interested
let's find
to hear
out.
it.
Well, he still has a bad knee. I ain't gonna get into specifics of it, but we'll see what he can tolerate and what he can't.
He's got a bad knee.
Mike, I mean, when they say things like, oh, the media just speculates, this is why we're speculating. Because he's been out for 6 months. And what do you label the injury?
Bad knee.
Do you say major knee injury? Because when I hear major knee injury, that implies that you had surgery. Mm-hmm. To me, at least.
He has not had surgery.
He has not had surgery.
No.
So what is it's a bad knee.
It's a bad knee. It's some stem cells in there.
I don't get it. Like, why do we not have I don't understand what's so hard just to say what it is.
I don't know. There's another bizarre thing that's
I don't
happened
know. Why
year.
are we being so weird? I don't know. Why are we so weird about it?
I think it's because they have taken an unconventional route in healing it. With, again, we're speculating here about stem cells. This is information I've gotten secondhand. But if you're not having surgery, what are you doing with it? Well, in this day and age, you're shooting it up with stem cells to repair the tendons. I mean, that's the thing that's happening now, and it's being used extensively, and it's with a lot of great success. I'm a very happy stem cell guy. I mean, I had my knees done 5 years ago, and it's huge game changer. So it works. It definitely works. But I don't think we've ever had a knee injury like this being treated with stem cells or whatever alternative treatment other than surgery. And I think they probably feel like there's no upside to telling everybody about what they're doing. So why do it? That's my guess. So they're just going to be quiet about it. And at some point, if it works, we'll find out, what this miracle cure was. They'll be happy to talk about it if it works. But if it doesn't work, there'll be a lot of questions. Why didn't you get the surgery earlier? Why did you, take this alternative path? What was your thinking in this? So because he's under contract for next year, and if this doesn't work and he has to get surgery after the season to repair whatever major knee injury is, and if it is ACL or whatever, and it takes another 9, 10, 12 months, he's going to miss the next season. So it's obviously a bit of a gamble. And again, we're speculating on all of this. We're just kind of, looking at it forward, we're just looking at it for what we know.
And I'm just trying to get a similar example. And I know that David Bakhtiari is one that comes to mind. Now, he had the traditional ACL surgery. He came back late last year and completely re-aggravated it and had to get work done again.
Right.
And then this year he's kind of been in and out of the lineup like that. Yeah. It's kind of just lasted. So it's really touch and go, it feels like, with these type of things.
Yeah. And, and a lot of this stem cell stuff that's been done, as far as I know, like myself and other people, it works, but we're not playing NFL football. No. I'm not engaging with a 400-pound man, and trying to push him off his spot. So that's a whole nother level of healing. So I think a lot of this is really, this is uncharted territory for the medical field, for football field. Just in general medicine, I've done a lot of research on this. It's working miracles. Stem cells are working medical miracles right now for a lot of different people. So how this works out, again, if it works, and this is the wave of the future to repair tendons and ligaments with stem cells instead of doing, cadaver tendons and ligaments. That's going to be a major change in how injuries are handled. So this is kind of the breaking ground type of stuff. I'm kind of reading the tea leaves on how this is going because none of it's been normal. And we'll see how it works out. If it works and he comes back and plays well, it's going to be a kind of a game changer. All right. How about Bowles on how the Panthers have evolved? Number 8. Please.
They've done a great job stopping the run and getting turnovers and getting off the field. They've done an outstanding job running the football. Sam's done a great job getting plays down the field as well. The runners are playing well. They got playmakers all over the place. They have a lot of confidence, and they've been playing some good ball.
Yeah, I think that sums it up right there. They won 4 of 6. They're not world beaters, but again, physical in the running game, and Sam is actually playing some fairly decent football for what they ask him to do.
For what they ask him to do.
Yeah.
And that's the key. You've got to force Sam Darnold to
beat you from the pocket.
Yeah, to be Sam Darnold things.
Yeah.
Basically, is what you have to force
contain him because once he gets out on the edge, anybody, I'm saying anybody, but he can make plays when he's out on the run. He'll throw you the ball.
Yeah, it is kind of remarkable.
Not that our defensive backs catch the ball, but
that's true. Yeah, that's very true.
Actually, have to catch the ball to get the interception. He can throw it to you, which has been done a lot. But if you don't actually catch the ball, you don't get credit for the interception. Kind of how it works. And Bucs have not really been good at catching the football defensively. Let's play number 7. I'm very interested to hear this. Bowles, how the team has changed under his leadership opposed to Bruce Arians, who goes into the Ring of Honor on Sunday, which will be nice.
Oh, where'd he go?
Where you at? So this is a question that I've posed a couple times and haven't really gotten an answer. We lost that one? All right, we'll try to get that a little bit.
Let me try to get that one back here.
How about number 6? The Bowles talking about Arians going into the Ring of Honor. Let's try that one. No, we're having a technical malfunction.
My files just aren't playing here.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get that back.
We'll get back to that in a little bit. Why don't we go ahead and take a break because our good friend Pat Burnham is waiting in the wings to join us to talk about some FSU football as they begin their 2023 campaign for a national title. Yep, I said it. I said the Natty. They got a lot of good things happening in Florida State football, and Pat Burnham's going to catch us up on the recruiting, the transfer portal, all that good stuff, and the ass-kicking they're going to put on Oklahoma tonight in the Cheez-It Bowl. Quick break. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell him JP sent you.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Don't forget, it's time to renew or shop your health insurance provider. You can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it, and that's not true. Find out what your subsidy can be. It's a great program. Blue Cross Blue Shield, Florida Blue. You can get whatever you want there. 888-325-0605. And even if you have an employer paid plan, it still might be cheaper, folks. So give them a call and find out what your rates will be. 888-325-0605 is the number. And tell them JP sent you. All right, let's talk some Florida State football. It's game day. And our good friend Pat Burnham joins us from his Cheez-It hotel room in Orlando, Florida. Wait a minute. I don't see all the Cheez-It stuff back there, man. You didn't get the –
I think I lost out to Micah Pittman for that room. I'm pretty sure.
You could have snagged a sweet NIL deal. I mean,
yeah, definitely, man.
Listen, I'm just hoping for a bowl bonus. I mean, I haven't had to work this late in December in quite some time.
That's right.
So.
That's right. It's kind of a good thing, right?
I mean, previous years it should have been hazard pay. Now I need the bowl bonus.
Yeah, you know what? It's been a quick turnaround. You don't get the swag bag. Actually, back in the day, the media used to get some sweet swag bags. Now they give you like.
You know what? I did not stay at the media hotel, so I do not know. I do not know what I'm missing out on besides the hospitality room from 6 to 12 every night.
Well, you can still go over there. Don't they have a bowl gift? Come on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm spending time with family, JP. I'm a family guy.
Of course. So good for you. That's great. All right. So this game really is kind of interesting to me. It started at 7 points, Florida State. Now it's up to 9.5, maybe more than that. I'm still jumping on the Noles. I think they're going to roll tonight big time. Oklahoma has a lot of guys that have opted out, and they're not a very good football team to begin with. Their defense is awful. And Florida State is the most explosive team on offense in college football. Try to make a scenario where the Noles don't win by 9.5 points tonight.
It'd be hard. I mean, you're right. I mean, Oklahoma's going to be without their starting running back, without their 2 starting offensive tackles, which you would think would be a huge advantage for Florida State. They're going to start a freshman left tackle, I believe, but one of the starting tackles is a freshman, and you would think Jared Verse and Jarrett McClendon and all those guys would have a big day off the edge. Now, Oklahoma is an explosive offense, and you see strange things happen every day, but you're missing Eric Gray, who's the 14th leading rusher in the nation. You're missing 2 all-conference performers at offensive tackle, and then, of course, they're missing one of their best defensive tackles as well, and they've got several guys in the portal, one of whom is listed on their depth chart. So it'll be interesting to see how they play. But, yeah, a very explosive offense, and, JP, you said it. They brought in Brent Venables this year to turn around a defense that finished 79th in total defense last year, 76, excuse me. And, of course, it has not worked out that way. They're 107th in rushing defense, 108th in passing defense, 120th in total defense, things you don't associate with a Brent Venables defense. So, listen, could this turn into a shootout? Of course it could. They're very explosive on offense. They run the ball very well at Oklahoma. But, again, they're without their best back.
Right. And
so, it's hard to see. Florida State comes out and sticks to their identity, which is running the ball and playing good pass defense, which they've done most of the year. You would think Florida State comes in and handles their business and really hits the 2023 offseason with some momentum going into offseason conditioning. And, there's still some things to do in the portal and recruiting that would certainly give them more momentum with a win over Oklahoma. But listen, these bowl games have been funny. But, yes, I expect Florida State to get after Oklahoma pretty good today.
Yeah, and nowadays, I mean, it's so rare to have, like, your full roster for some of these bowl games, which a lot of people are going to say are, meaningless now is kind of the word that's been used. Now, I'd argue differently based on the games we saw last night, right?
Yeah,
but
great games for the Duke game.
Yeah, but in this game, I mean, Florida State should have, most of their full roster available to play, and they wanted to play. I mean, guys like Jared Verse haven't even made a decision on the NFL. They're focused here. I mean, what does that kind of say about, the difference in the program now with Mike Norvell and kind of using this, as you said, a jump start to 2020?
Well, listen, I think it says a heck of a lot about how these players feel about not only him, but the staff and the university as a whole in a world where, in a new world where all these guys are concerned about, I might get hurt if I do that. I might get hurt if I do this. I got to protect myself. We see it. We see opt-outs all over the place. Oklahoma, as we've just talked about, some of their best players are not going to play, and so I think it says an awful lot about how these guys feel about each other as teammates. And listen, Mike has talked about fit for his program, and I think this is just another example of that. They are digging deep to see what these guys, what their beliefs are outside of the football field and who they are as people. And listen, individually, I think it says a lot about a guy like Jared Verse and Jamie Robinson. As you said, Nick, Jared hasn't declared yet, and maybe he comes back, which would be a huge boom for Florida State going back into 2023, particularly with what they've done in the portal over the last couple of days, last couple of weeks. But yes, I think it says a lot about Mike Norvell as a head coach. I think it says a lot about those kids as individuals. And I think it says a lot about how this team feels about each other, and they enjoy playing with each other. They enjoy practicing with each other. And I think that it's just another more proof that Florida State is definitively headed in the right direction as a program, not just wins and losses, but as who they are in that building and what they are in that building.
Culture, we like to call it.
And we use that way too much, but in this case, I think it speaks to the culture, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. No, it's important. I know it's overused, but I think it's the most important thing in football teams. What is your culture? What are guys talking about? In these bowl games, it is because the leadership sets the tone, right? And can you find me a better leader in college football than Jordan Travis? Not only just the way that he handles himself on the field, he's just a gamer, but off the field. And, and he's made it a point that this is not a throwaway game. This is, we're moving towards something. We want to continue the momentum, and he's gotten everybody on board. So talk to me a little bit about Jordan Travis, his leadership, him coming back, and what that means to this team.
Well, this is just kind of a side story. I was sitting in there. They got several restaurants in this hotel, and I was sitting downstairs with some of my family members, and my nieces were wanting to play pool. They got 2 pool tables, so we all went down there, and in walks Jordan with two backup offensive linemen to play pool on a Wednesday night or on Tuesday night. And that's a night that if you're at the bowl games, most of the guys would be out and about. At least back in the old days when you and I were in college, JP, we would have been finding trouble on Church Street. And
here we go.
Yeah, and he is just hanging out with 2 of his teammates and kind of casual, laid back. And listen, this we talked about it earlier. This is his team. It has been for quite some time. When Mike chose not to bring in a transfer quarterback through the portal, he put this team in Jordan Travis's hands, and he certainly hasn't disappointed. He's a very competitive guy. And listen, I think he's, as Jerry Cutts, our publisher at the Osceola, Mike has found the secret sauce, whatever it is. And a lot of that has to do with Jordan Travis and Jared Verse and Tatum Bethune and Jamie Robinson. But yes, listen, Nick Saban talks about building value by playing in the bowl game. We've heard him talk about opt-outs. And I think Jordan Travis it's not just about building value to the NFL anymore. It's about building value to your whatever they call those NIL things. So to those organizations, it's building value to that. I just happened to be going through some of the valuations this morning of the NIL. And so you're creating value not only to the NFL by playing these games, but you're creating value to your collective at the university you play at if you're a player. So yes, I think there's a lot of that. Plus, I think it's important for these guys this group wants to get Florida State back to being a double-digit win program. And so that says a lot to me about these kids and about what's going on inside that building and what these coaches are selling these kids.
That's great stuff. Pat Burnham joining us here from the Osceola. And this is, when you talk about moving in the right direction, you mentioned the NIL valuations. This is a whole new world that we're living in. I was listening to your tremendous podcast on recruiting the other day. And I mean, you guys are literally talking like it's salary cap, man. It's like you have this much money. You got to allocate for this guy, for player retention, for everything. I mean, that's what we're dealing with right now, right?
I mean, every collective at any university, they have a budget. I mean, they have operating revenue or operating capital. This is how much we can spend, and they're having to determine, how much do we offer this guy to stay? How much do we offer this guy to get him? Now, and I'm not talking about Florida. I'm just talking about college football as a whole. And then, of course, now tampering. We're getting NFL terms in college football. Tampering. And, somebody made the point to me about why didn't Coach Traylor from UTEP announce the coach that he was speaking about? And I said, because there's not enough spaces on characters on Twitter to list all 129 other head coaches. So this whole so anyway, yes, it's definitely a new era in college football with all of that. And going to to kind of go on your point, I don't know what Florida State exactly has going on with the NIL, but certainly seems to be working on the portal guys.
Yeah, no question. And catch us up on the portal guys. FSU now ranked number 1 in the portal. They just got a big defensive tackle from Western Michigan.
Brayden Fisk, who was an all-conference performer there, and a guy that you would think comes in and competes for a starting spot right away, particularly if Lovett does not come back. But if you look at Lovett coming back, which nobody knows where Fabian Lovett's coming back or not at this point, but if you looked at that defensive line room with or without him, pretty impressive with Brayden Fisk. And then you got the Miami transfer, Darrell Jackson, who's from right outside of Tallahassee. Of course, now he will have to apply for a waiver to be eligible immediately, but we'll see how that goes. But you add those two guys to that room without Lovett or with Lovett, it still has to be a chance to be a very dominant defensive tackle group. And then again, listen, they've done well getting transfer offensive linemen. This might be the best they've ever done. Jeremiah Byers is an all-conference performer from UTEP. You would think he's a plug-and-play guy right away. I would think the same thing from Casey Roddick from Colorado, who was a team captain there, has played a tremendous amount of football. And then you got Keandre Jones coming in from Auburn, who was relegated to a backup role this season as a redshirt sophomore, but he started for them 12 games a year ago. So he's got some ability. And JP, you start looking at that offensive line group, and I've got a kind of a tentative depth chart written down on a piece of paper in front of me here. And you start saying, well, this guy will start here. And they're like, well, hold on a second. Jalen Early, Quayshawn Sapp, some of these young guys, we can't forget about them. They're going to want to play too. So, and then of course what they did at tight end and adding to that room with Jaheim Bell, who can play wide receiver, tight end, running back. What a pickup that was. And then you add Kyle Murlock, a Division II two-time All-American, who was a very dominant blocker at the Division II level. Certainly knows how to catch the ball, good hands. Knows how to read zone defenses and find out where he needs to be. And you start looking at that room. It's just, we're not seeing the deficiencies on this roster since Mike has started using the portal the way he has. And then, of course, they had a really ranked 27th from the high school and junior college side of things, but I thought they had a really impressive class there as well. And, I always say these recruiting rankings, you need to come back 3 years later and rank these recruiting classes and not rank them before they go to college, right? Because if Florida State ends up being 14th in the nation 3 years from now, well, that's the 14th ranked recruit. It's not apples to apples, but you know what I'm saying. And listen, Rivals rankings do not consider the portal. So if they did, obviously FSU would be more highly ranked as a recruiting class. And I think you'll start seeing services factor all that in. But yeah, listen, and, they still got a chance with Fintrell Cypress, the starting cornerback from UVA. He was on an official visit 2 weeks ago to Florida State, has not made a decision yet, but that would be a guy that could strengthen your secondary, come in and be a starter at corner probably right away. And listen, I don't think they're done yet. I think they're going to probably take a look at a linebacker, possibly a defensive end if Verse were to announce that he was leaving. So I don't think he's done yet. And Mike's alluded to the fact that they may not be done.
And you didn't even mention Hakeem Williams.
We haven't even got to the high school guys.
And you got the linebacker from California, Nicholson?
Blake Nicholson, And people are going to love that. And listen, it's a really good class. And there's some guys that fly under the radar, like Quindarius Jones from Mississippi. He's an outstanding football player. Could probably play safety, corner, outside linebacker. I mean, there is a ton of there's about 17 kids, I think, that signed that day. And you mentioned Hakeem. He was the feather in the cap, right? He's your highest rated player. And I know a lot of people pay attention to that. Then you had they flipped Conrad Hussey, the defensive back from Penn State. 2 days after. And you got a guy like Keith Sampson, a defensive tackle, who's got a chance to be a really good player. You love what you see from him on tape. Big, thick guy that can move and run well. The kid I really like that's a couple years away is Jabril Rawls. If you're looking for an underrated kid, he's been committed forever. Probably more lightly recruited than some of these guys, but and then of course you got a guy like Jaden Jones, a defensive end from Hutchinson, Kansas, who missed most of this year, but you look at him on the hoof and boy, he looks the part, and obviously was a very good player. And then probably you start looking at the future if Byers and Roddick and Jones are the immediate future for Florida State on the offensive line. Then you look at a guy like Lucas Simmons from right there in Clearwater, 6'7", 300 pounds, has all the ability in the world. It's just a matter of him growing into his body, making the adjustment to college football. And you mentioned Blake Nicholson at linebacker, a guy that's got a chance to come in and play right away because of where Florida State is. And this guy's just a great football player, JP. Led his high school football team in rushing this year, receiving, and was second or third on the team in tackles, and of course led them in tackles for losses and sacks. But you talk about a throwback. You don't see many kids play both ways anymore. Blake played probably about 120 plays a game. If you're playing 60 snaps on either side of the ball. So anyway, listen, I'm more impressed than the rankings are with Florida State's recruiting class, but listen, they're the class, they're the team I follow, but I was impressed with the class, and I think it's the best class they've signed so far. And of course, we haven't even talked about the quarterback they signed. Who's if you watch him, JP, and if you're an older Florida State fan, as advanced in age as JP and I are, think Casey Weldon. That's who he reminds me of on tape. He's built like him. He throws like him. He's sneaky athletic, moves well, can do all the play action, throws the ball effortlessly downfield, great touch on the deep ball. And Mike's going to talk or take chances in that. And Tony Tokarz, the quarterback coach, talked about that the day we got to talk to the coaches about the signees. And he says, listen, he really fits our system, not only off the field, but on the field. But I think they're very happy with this class. And I think there's going to be some guys that are going to surprise some people in this class.
Yeah, I'm jacked up and ready to go. Fantastic stuff, Pat. And it starts tonight, right? And this team is really treating this game like an entree to 23, right? They want to put this team on the map, and you go out and beat up an Oklahoma team, which I think people rightly are looking at them as depleted, but whatever. Hang a 50 burger on them, and it just builds momentum, right? There's just and you go out there and lay a turd tonight. It does the opposite. It really does. So I think there's a lot at stake for what's building tonight.
Well, I do too. Listen, there's expectations now. You went 9-3 in the regular season. Your fan base knows that Oklahoma is. Yeah. So listen, there's a little bit of pressure on Florida State, but and JP, and I think you're right. I don't know how much momentum it carries to next August,
right? But
I certainly think it carries a lot of. It helps you carry momentum into the offseason. When they start going into the weight room at 5 a.m. and crushing these workouts. And of course, and I do think that. I think a lot of it I think they want to put a stamp on this season. I mean, you're talking about a season where you could have wins against Florida, Miami, LSU, and Oklahoma. And in 3 or 4 years, nobody's going to remember that Oklahoma was 6-6.
That's right.
They're going to know that Florida State beat 4 of the biggest brands in all of college football in the same year. I think this team, and I think this team, the staff, I think that they want a 10th win. They're not happy with 9-3.
Yeah. All right. We'll see what happens. Pat, tell them everybody what they can get there, where they can get your content, what you got going for the game, and after the game, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Go to floridastate.rivals.com or theosceola.com, and we'll have an in-game feed where we'll have updates from the press box, who's dressed out, who's not dressed out, in case there's any surprises there. Obviously, we'll have a live thread through the game. Kurt Weiler and Bob Ferrante will have post-game articles shortly after on the Osceola YouTube channel. Former FSU Senator Mark Salva and I will do a live show called First Impressions, and we'll kind of share our thoughts on the game and obviously with this game, the season, as it comes to a conclusion. But you can go to the Osceola YouTube channel, also follow the Osceola on Twitter and Facebook, and you can catch that show live. But we've got a breakdown of the recruiting class. Our message boards are hot right now on the recruiting side. We got Charles Fishbein helping me break down all the signees. But certainly we'd love for everybody to give us a try. And of course, JP, appreciate you and Nick having me on the show all year, and hope that we will get back on and talk a little FSU football in the offseason.
Damn right we will, and we really appreciate you guys coming on. You guys are the best in the business. It's great information. We've got the guys commenting already on the right side. Love having you back on the show. So thanks for all you do. And when I get home from the Lightning game, I will watch you and Salva break this thing down on your YouTube channel because I can go anytime.
All right, guys. Hey, y'all have a great New Year's and safe New Year's, and we will talk after the first of the year.
All right. Thanks. Enjoy the game today. Pat Burnham there from the Osceola. Boy, if you're not jacked up as an FSU fan, I mean, just think you could be a UCF fan and having you watch get your ass kicked by Duke, like in a non-competitive game. I mean, could be that. I mean, and then just like, what are you looking forward to as a UCF fan at this point? I mean, wow. Great recruiting, people leaving in the portal.
Kill him here.
Hey, what's going on over there, UCF guy?
I felt a little bit my heart break there.
It's so, but I mean, does this matter come next year? It depends on where your program's at. You know, I mean, where's UCF at?
Well,
this has to be considered a bad season, a disappointing season by any measure. And what kind of momentum are they bringing forward next year in terms of recruiting, portal?
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, they finished right now they're 40th, I believe, in recruiting rankings. Now, for them, that's the highest they've ever been.
That's good.
That's 40. In the Big 12, which is 14 teams deep right now, that's 7th. So that's in the middle of the pack. That's right in the middle of the Big 12. Right? So that's okay. That's not that bad, honestly, for a first-year transition.
Nope.
In the portal rankings, they're in the top 6.
Nope.
Right. So they've had a lot of guys come out, but they've also had a lot of guys come in, and they've been getting a lot of guys from like Alabama and Auburn, continuing to get kind of the backups in those programs in here, and they perform well at UCF. So, but at some point, this has got to translate on the field.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of former UCF players, the ones who were around when they were winning, 10, 11, 12 games not too long ago, that were on Twitter after the game. Like, y'all are all talking all the time.
Yeah.
It's got to translate to the field.
That's right.
Because I thought UCF, I mean, I went into this game and I told you I didn't feel good about it because UCF lost their defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
They lost their offensive coordinator. They lost a lot of defensive players to the portal. And that was the part of the problem with the team at the end of the year was the defense just completely let them down. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
And you got a quarterback who is far too inconsistent for my taste in John Rice Plumlee. And yesterday was more of the same. UCF offense that scores 13 points.
Yeah.
That just doesn't fly
against Duke.
And then all respect to Duke, but still, I thought it would be a little bit more competitive than that.
Yeah.
So at some point, it's got to translate on the field.
Well, these bowl games are so much about where the programs are heading, and you can make some money on some of these teams that are just not in the game. It just becomes kind of a what are you talking about at meetings? What are guys talking about in the game?
It's one of those things. Like, I hate to be that guy that goes, well, the SEC doesn't care unless you're in the big bowl game. But like, who had Texas Tech beating Ole Miss last night by like 20 something points?
Not me.
I don't know who had that.
Yeah.
But then you go immediately to where, well, it's Ole Miss. At one point, this team was ranked top 10 in the nation, and now they're playing on a random Wednesday night against Texas Tech. Are they up for it? Lane Kiffin had all those rumors going around his head. I mean, I'm not trying to be the SEC apologist guy here, because I know that's the joke right now. It doesn't matter to them unless they're in a big game. And they're 1-3 in bowl games, by the way, so that joke's running wild.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just mentality's different, and it's kind of how I feel about Oklahoma in this game, to be honest with you.
They don't give a rat's ass about this. They're just trying to get home.
That's how I feel about it for them.
I mean, when you got all these guys opting out, I mean, think about it. When you're in the locker room, right? And you're just like, all the good players are kind of, this game is, it's below me. I'm not going to play in it. I'm opting out, and it's just like, that just sends a message, as opposed to Jordan Travis, who's like, I'm coming back, and this is our entree to 23.
Yeah.
We're going to go out and we want our 10th win.
I found this was interesting yesterday. So LSU, they're playing in the Citrus Bowl, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, because there's two Cheez-It Bowls. The Citrus Bowl generally, I thought, has always been a big bowl game,
it's
right?
a New Year's Day game.
And this game is coming up soon here. And Keyshawn Boutte, the receiver, who previously announced that he was returning to LSU, yesterday he declares for the draft out of nowhere, and they're 4 days away from the bowl game.
Yeah, where did
a pretty big bowl game? Like, where does that come from?
Yeah,
that's just interesting. It's just interesting to me. 4 days away from a really big bowl game against Purdue. Can catapult your team. You already announced that you were coming back, can catapult you into some momentum where, by the way, you play Florida State again next year to open up the season.
That's right.
You've had a damn good year in LSU, and then you go, now I'm going to go to the draft now.
In the same stadium too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to the draft. I don't know. It's mind-boggling to me a little bit.
The practice get a little too hard.
I mean,
it's not a good sign. It's good. Well, and then Purdue, I think, is without both of their coordinators in this game.
Yeah, Purdue's going through a lot. I mean, Drew Brees is going to be coaching.
Drew Brees is going to be coaching. Game, so I love Drew Brees, but I don't know how that's going to work. But
but then you have other teams that use it differently. Like the other night, like people were saying this is so unprecedented, and a lot of people were split on this. Luke Fickell, who had been there for like 3 weeks, coached in that bowl game and took over and said, no, I want to coach. I want to get a feel for my guys. And it's like, people were ripping him for that. Like,
I wonder why more coaches don't do that.
I don't understand that. Everybody was ripping him like, no, this isn't your team yet. And Jim Leonard, this was his team. And now you're upstate. He's the head coach.
Yeah. You're moving forward. Like
you're moving forward.
This is how bowl games should be treated in my mind.
Yes.
Like you get 15 practices for your bowl game. If you have the time. I mean, it's like an extra spring practice. It's a springboard to the next season, because a lot of you guys that are leaving in the draft are not going to play. So whoever's starting next year has to step up. And that's how these games should be treated. Like, this is your opener for 23 almost, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of these teams, and if you're the new coach, yeah, hell yeah. I always wondered why they sit on the sideline sometimes and watch the game. It's like, dude, you're taking over this team. You got 15 practices to start putting your mark on this team.
Yeah.
Why would you not do that?
I think Marcus Freeman did that last year in a big bowl. They played in like the Fiesta Bowl or something.
Yeah,
and he went in and coached against that.
I think you're right. I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
But I don't know. He was getting ripped for it.
You upstage somebody. I'm so tired of hurting people's feelings. I'm so tired. It's freaking football, man. Go effing win the game. Like, we're out here to win games. We're not doing this.
They won the game.
Keep people's jobs and maybe upstage somebody, or that's his team. And this is you can't come in. What? It's my I'm moving forward. This is my team. You're damn right. I'm going to coach it. I'm going to sit on the sidelines and watch stuff go on that I don't agree with. They hire me for a reason. That the culture is bad. You need to change it. Well, why am I going to sit back here on my ass and do nothing and just watch? No, get in there. Let's go. Let's freaking go. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side. Scott Carter's going to join us, and we're going to talk some Gator football. What's next for this program? Where are they headed? We'll talk about their recruiting, how the bowl situation fared for them. Doesn't look very well. But Billy Napier's got a good class. We'll talk about that when we come back. We're brought to you by Emerging Investigations, emerginginv.com, and the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves, jeeveslawgroup.com. If you did not get what you think you should have gotten when your car was totaled from your insurance company, you think you should have got more money, probably should have. That's usually what they do. If you want to find out if you have a case, call the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Jeeves Law Group, they will let you know. It's a free consultation. Just go to jeeveslawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you. All right, back with Scott Carter with the Jeeves Law Group Gator Report next. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call? 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JeeVes lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others. 888-325-0605. Oh, Merry Christmas. Santa Claus here for the Golden Diamond Source. All right, it's JP. The holidays are the best time for engagements, right? And where better to get that special ring than the Golden Diamond Source? They have the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. So avoid all the mall madness and the parking and all that BS and stay local, right? With the Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub are the family jewelers, and they'll treat you like family. And, of course, they do so many great things in the community. I was just at their Hands Across the Bay, a charity event. So many people stepped up to give money for these women that have been victims of domestic abuse. It is something to behold when these women come forward and talk about what Julie and Steve have done for them. And the Golden Diamond Source funds Hands Across the Bay. and so many other great companies jump in. That's what it's all about, community, right? So let's keep it local for the holidays. If you want a perfect gift for the holidays, you should check out the unique and beautiful handcrafted jewelry from the Emilique and Julieve collections that feature fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. And don't forget, for the holidays only, 3 to 5 year interest-free financing. It's a no-brainer for the holidays. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Our 11 o'clock hour is brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. We're going to have Chris Lugo on Friday. So if you got any questions, that's tomorrow, isn't it? No, it's tomorrow. Sneaks up on you. If you got any questions about weight loss or testosterone replacement therapy, immune system, anything health related, go on our Twitter at FanStreamJP or at the JP Peterson Show and drop a question in there for Chris, and we will answer those tomorrow. And if you're looking to lose weight after the holidays, and who's not, right? BAMMC.com. Get a personalized, medically based weight loss plan, not some cheesy chiropractor or weight loss clinic. Go to a doctor who knows exactly what they're doing, and they'll personalize something just for you based on your blood work and your blood chemistry. That's the way they do it in the modern era, folks. It's Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Scott Carter for the Jeeves Law Group Gator Report. What's up, Scotty? Happy holidays to you. Hope you had a good Christmas, my friend.
Hey, guys. Yeah, doing well. Kind of emerging out of a cave, man. The Gators they got their ass kicked in Vegas, and I got mine kicked by some kind of flu when I got home.
Oh, God.
But I feel good, man, coming back from the dead.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're rebounding from that. Was it the Vegas flu? Because that's been known to go around. That Vegas
flu. I didn't have nearly as much fun in Vegas as obviously the Gators did, so I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Well, yeah, I didn't like that bowl game. Kind of came and went. Was the team out there? It sounds like going to a Vegas bowl. That sounds like fun.
It was a good trip. I mean, you got to believe not many guys who sign up to play football at Florida ever think they're going to play in the Vegas Bowl. It's one of those rare deals with the SEC this year. They got to go out there. I mean, it was a great trip. The bowl did a great job. That stadium is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it just did not go the Gators' way. I mean, they did not look very good out there. And, now it's time to reboot, fellas. That's what you do after a game like that. You only have one choice, right?
Yeah, we were just talking to Pat Burnham, and, for Florida State, it's such a different deal, right? They beat Miami, they beat Florida, they beat LSU, they get 9 wins, and now, Jarrett, their quarterback and leader, this is all about this is next 23, right? We want to move forward. This is a momentum game for us. For Florida, it didn't really feel like that. I mean, Jordan Travis is out there telling everybody to come back and we're going to play, and they getting the whole band back together. At Florida, it feels very different, right? As far as that goes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've told people the big picture, even before the game, I didn't think it was that important whether or not the Gators won or lost that game in the big picture. But, the way they lost obviously just sets sour with a lot of people going into the offseason. They got some momentum back with what I thought is their best recruiting class since Urban Meyer's last class. And that's been, that's been 12 years ago. I think from top to bottom that you can say they've had this depth of a class. But now the next step, guys, is, Florida's got to get back. I mean, they've had 2 straight losing seasons, man. That hasn't happened since 1978-79. So, they've got some work to do. I still believe Billy Napier is well equipped to get the job done. I think he learned a lot in year 1. I think we'll probably see some maybe behind the scenes changes as he just kind of tweaks his program. But I think the big picture with Florida Gators right now, I think they're in good shape foundation wise. But now it's time to start putting some bells and whistles up, right? And Florida State's got clear momentum going into 2023. Miami is kind of still, whether or not it's shown up in the win-loss record, they're doing some things on the recruiting trail that's garnering some attention nationally. And, the state's getting tougher. I mean, UCF has a new coach. UCF's now a new threat. So it's just an interesting place for the Gators to be, one they haven't found themselves in many, many years.
And we just mentioned there Anthony Richardson going to the NFL, which I thought was a little surprising to myself. I don't know how you felt about that, but obviously we knew that Florida would go and get somebody from the transfer portal. There were a lot of names floated around. I don't know if Graham Mertz was on the top of everybody's minds, and I know a lot of Florida fans seem a little split on it, but what do you think Billy Napier and his staff like out of Graham Mertz?
Well, I think first and foremost, Nick, he's a leader. You know, he's been in a system at Wisconsin, which is a big-time program. Nothing's really going to phase him. You're right. Florida fans have been kind of split. He's not the sexiest guy out there, but I think where they are and what they need just for this coming year, I think it's important to have a veteran guy, first of all, who's been there, done that, who's proven he fits all the intangibles inside. I know Billy Napier's done his homework on Graham Mertz. I know they like all the intangibles he brings away from the field. And also it's a chance for him to play maybe with some more talented players than he has at Wisconsin to reboot his career. I mean, the guy's got a lot of credentials that you look at in big-time quarterbacks. So I think there's a lot worse they could have done, certainly. It's just that, he's just not one of those guys that, was in the Heisman conversation or anything like that. Not a Graham McCall guy who fans seem to really like. Bottom line is, though, if he can come in and play solid football and lead that position, the Gators can certainly show big signs of improvement because Anthony Richardson, as great of a talent as he is, and it's going to be fascinating to watch where he goes in the draft.
Yes.
He was such an inconsistent quarterback. You just didn't know what you were going to get, not only game by game, but really snap by snap. He can make you do some things like, whoa, where'd that come from? And then you're like, oh man, I mean, I would have known not to throw that pass. But that's just where Anthony is in his career. I really like Anthony as a guy. I think he's a great kid. I think he's got so much upside, and some team is going to get a good guy in their locker room. Yeah. But for him to take that step to where he needs to do as an NFL quarterback, he's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, if Brady chooses to leave, there's going to be a lot of talk because the Bucs will be picking, probably around 19, 20, somewhere in that area where he might be available. And his talent is undeniable. I mean, when he works out against air, when he starts doing these workouts, it's going to be Cam Newton-esque, right? Yeah. Remember how Cam Newton was like, okay, he's good, but is he really a pro quarterback? He started working out for everybody. Everybody's like, oh my God, this dude throw the ball freaking 80 yards. He can run like the wind. Nobody wants to tackle him. I mean, he's just that type of dude. You don't see many quarterbacks like this. So the NFL teams are going to fall in love with him. And we'll have this conversation probably more times in the offseason, but just off the jump, where the NFL is going right now, they're going away from the Tom Bradys. They're going towards the Anthony Richardsons, these incredible runners and throwers of the football. But man, he is a raw talent. And all these coaches know they can fix him. Every one of them knows they can fix him, right?
And somebody's going to say, you know what, they're going to have a chance to pick him in the first round. And I think he'll be a first round pick. I don't know if he's going to be in the top 10 or 15, but I fully expect Anthony to go to somewhere later in the first round. And he's one of those picks, guys, that, it's going to be a career defining move for that head coach and GM. They're either going to be great behind Anthony Richardson, or they're probably going to get fired in 2 or 3 years. That's just the way it's going to work out. But you know what? If that's what you do for a living and that's what you wake up in the morning excited about, I mean, he's got to be one of those guys you just, like JP said, you don't see come along very often.
No, they don't. All right, let's dig into this class a little bit because it's ranked number 9 by ESPN. Got a little local flavor here. Trey Wilson from Gaither High School, a 4-star receiver. Got him. Just tell me what really stands out in this class.
Well, you mentioned one guy right there. I think of all the players they signed in the other night, I think Trey Wilson is probably the one that has me most excited from an instant impact standpoint. I think this guy is a playmaker that the Gators need. Size, speed, out of Gaither, like you said, he's been around the game his whole life. His father was an NFL guy. They really like him. They really like all three. They got a receiver, Andy Jean, now in Miami, and they got Aiden Mizell from Boone High School in Orlando. Right there, they upgraded their position of need. And, I think Wilson's kind of the star guy. And it's really about reloading on defense, guys. You look at the 22 they signed last Wednesday, 13 of those guys are on defense. The one guy, Kelby Collins out of Gardendale, Alabama, he's that kind of defensive line presence that Florida's really lacked.
Gotta have
in
that.
recent years. And, Alabama really wanted him. A lot of schools really wanted him. He decided to come to Florida. I think that was probably, to me, their most impressive pickup defensively. But as I was referenced earlier, guys, I think really what stands out about this class to me is when you go through the rating system and you look at the comparative score, the cumulative score of all these guys, it's the best class since the 2010 class that Urban Meyer brought in, with guys like Dominique Easley, Ronald Powell, Sharif Floyd, a lot of future NFL guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Florida, let's face it, man, this defense has been missing now for 3 years. You look at Florida's defense the last 3 years, it's a total outlier to the history of the program. So it's important that they get going there. And you obviously got to have an offense too, but I think they needed more help on defense. And I think they boosted that side of the ball quite a bit.
Any guys you think come in and start next year defensively?
I think everything's on the table, JP. I really do. With everybody that's left and with what they have coming back. I mentioned Kelby Collins, Sharif Denson, a cornerback. They got Jason Marshall Jr. and Jaden Hill at corner, so I wouldn't expect him to be pressured into starting right away. But they're going to play. You look here, Gavin Hill, another defensive lineman, Cameron James out of Orlando, an especially edge rusher. I just think all these jobs, I think this is a total restart. We said that in year one of Billy Napier, and it was to some degree, but this is like 2.0 because now he's getting more and more of his players. And not only has the attrition just been, it's been ahead of the pace that you normally see in college football. Yeah. And you're seeing that across the country at some programs, and none more so than ones like Florida, which are totally in a rebuild mode.
Right.
So I think every job's going to be open. And, when you look at that defense, and just off the top of my head here, those corners that I mentioned, maybe, you can say, maybe they're lock-in starters, but I can't say that for sure. I just think every job's open, as it should be. that's where they are. So I just think that getting that depth on defense, and now you'll see them be active. I think in the transfer portal, they've been very reluctant there. I think they wanted to get their class. I think you'll see some guys. And you know what, guys, we've not so much from Florida's perspective, but we've seen it. We saw guys sign last week with schools. They will transfer before the season even starts. So who knows what kind of movement we're going to see in the summer.
So do you think is Napier more focused on, it seems to be, high school recruiting than the portal? It looks like Norvell's gone the opposite way, with great success, by the way. The portal's a dicey thing, but I think Mike has really found a niche there. He really relies on the character of the players, more than what school they went to. But he's got this. Florida State's not for everyone. It's a different kind of place. They got that kind of mantra going, and it's working for them. And their transfer portal haul this year, last year was tremendous. This year, even more so. But is Napier is he just philosophically opposed to it, or just rather right now wants to foundationally build with high school kids?
Yeah, I don't think he's come out and said he's, philosophically opposed to it. But if you look at his nature and just his personality, I think he is a guy that likes to build up from the bottom. And I think you look at a lot of these recruits they sign, not only they're good players, but they come from good homes. They had good parental influences.
Yeah.
He's not maybe gambling on some kids that get the headlines, but, a year later in the program, they're already done and they never make an impact. I think he's trying to build strong, but no, he's certainly open to the portal. If there's one thing about Billy Napier, and I tell Gator fans this all the time who are whining about this or that, I think one thing that he's proven to me is his ability to evaluate talent. Because you look at this past year's team, and I probably mentioned this to you guys before. Ricky Pearsall was the best receiver. Yep. He was a transfer portal guy they brought in. Montrell Johnson was their best running back, him and Trevor Etienne. They were Napier guys. And then Osiris Torrance was their best offensive lineman. They were all Billy guys. 2 of them came from Louisiana. 2 of them were transfer portal guys. So I think that's a good sign in the future. But, I think in this day and age, you have to be a little bit of both. But I still think, if I was in Billy Napier's shoes or any of these head coaches' shoes, I would still want to try to build the old-fashioned way, because I think that's where your greater chance of long-term success is.
When you're building a culture, a new culture, I think it is as well. And you got to be, but if you get the right guys in the portal, you can get that immediate success, which helps recruiting. That's what, you got to get those wins, man. FSU needed that 9-win season. I mean, last year they were losing to Jacksonville State. Now there's a totally different culture of winning, and that builds the momentum as well. But I think you can do it both ways. We got a question here, and I was going to ask you this anyway. Do you think Mertz wins the starting job, or does Jack Miller is he able to compete for the job? What do you think?
I think it's an open competition. I mean, I don't think they brought Mertz in to say, hey, you're clearly the guy. I think he was brought in as a veteran guy who's got the most experience on the roster at that position. I think in fairness to Jack Miller, now he gets a real chance. I mean, he certainly didn't blow anybody's shoes off in the bowl game, but I didn't think he hurt himself any. I mean, he was working against a roster that was half loaded there. So, and then you got, I think just as important for those guys is to build the foundation to, Jalen Rashada, the young quarterback they brought in the other day. If he is going to be a piece of your future, or at least have a real chance at, you want him to learn and you want him to be behind some veteran guys. But I do think Mertz and Miller, as the roster stands now, go into spring is kind of battling for that starting position. And Mertz would seemingly have the advantage. Obviously, he's an experienced starter and has done some good things, but I think his career just kind of stalled at Wisconsin, so it'll be interesting to see if he can get a reboot like the Gators need a reboot. Yeah.
Hey, last question for you. NIL. This is, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts on recruiting, and it's just, it's almost bizarre to hear people talking about, salary caps and, how much money they have in the collective, how they divvy it out to, there's player retention, there's, player procurement. I mean, you literally have to have a general manager now, and every team does, the big ones do, to do roster retention and how they dole out the NIL money. I mean, this is the most bizarre thing. It's completely unregulated. Yeah. How are you covering it as a journalist? I mean, when you can't get the real numbers on, it's like doing, pro contracts and salary cap stuff without having any numbers. How the hell do we do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just a lot of innuendo and guesswork, and not so much from what I write, but just even discussing it. It's just the term that everybody's using, the wild, wild west, and it's true. Yeah. That's what it is right now. And I mean, I loved what the NIL was supposed to be. I think it was past due. I don't like necessarily what it's become, this pay-for-play thing. So now it's time for the adults in the room to finally get together and somehow create a system where this can be sustained long-term. Because let's face it, I mean, we've always known all this stuff exists in college football, right? It's all existed forever. I mean, yes, it's always existed. But I think when it's this public and there's more and more getting out, and people, coaches and support staff, they're being judged more on who you're getting and who you're not because of money. Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got to create a system where you're going to lose more and more trust of your fans. Right. And that's going to hurt the product long term. And I just hope that in time, like I said, the adults in the room can get this thing worked out. And, I fully believe we're going to a professional sports model. I think it's going to happen sooner or later. Now there's a new president of the NCAA. He's a politician. You're seeing some politicians take over these universities. So I know they're looking maybe to Washington for help, but we know how that usually works out.
Terrible.
You got to go back to 1984 when the NCAA finally lost the TV battle, and TVs took over, and it changed everything for the better. And I think the private sector is going to be the one to have to figure this out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, when you get politicians involved and Washington involved, but that's the adults in the room let that happen. Because they were so greedy. They didn't want to give any money to the players until they were forced to do so.
I mean, some of these people in college athletics, I mean, they made a lot of money without doing much work.
Yes, they
did. It's like, what does this guy do?
Yeah, exactly. Still do.
Still do. But there's also, I mean, I've been around close, so there's a lot of people who pour their blood and sweat into this thing every day. Right. But there's a lot of these positions like, okay, what's that guy do?
Associate athletic director to scheduling athletic director.
But, I know you can say that about any field, but the money in this field is so big
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
Going to the wrong
players deserve some of it.
100%. All right, my man. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate it. You can get all Scott's information at floridagators.com. Great articles there, a podcast, the whole nine, and follow him at Gator Scott on Twitter. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Really interesting conversation there as far as the NIL goes. And yeah, now the NCAA, we got senators now, former senators running it, and
it's never good.
Never good.
No,
never good.
The one thing that bothers
me. Let's get corrupt politicians involved. Let's see where we can siphon off some more money.
The one thing that bothers me the most about the NIL, again, nothing really bothers me that much about the NIL, but the one thing is the tampering that gets me. Because like you saw the report about Drake May, right? Where all these schools have offered him like up to $5 million to like transfer and everything. Okay, that's cool if he was in the portal, but he's
not in the portal yet.
He's not even in the portal, and he's not going anywhere. Like he's as loyal as could. And I hate that I have to say he's loyal to North Carolina. Okay, his family all went to North Carolina. He wanted to go to North Carolina. He's at North Carolina. He said, "I'm staying at North Carolina." Finished story. But you got teams on the outside that are throwing $5 million in bags his way.
Yeah,
that's the stuff that gets on mine. It's just tampering.
Yeah,
it's basically tampering. I think there needs to be some kind of rule there.
Yes,
but nobody seems to be alarmed by it, and nobody seems to show any sense of urgency in getting it done.
Because there's nothing you can do about it right now. There's nothing they can really do about it. There are no rules in place. The NCAA is completely feckless.
Who's the czar?
There is no.
We don't know.
It's the Wild Wild West. There's no real rules to it. I mean, the NCAA put out that pathetic statement in the middle of last season, like, wait a minute, if you're a booster and you're giving NIL money, that's against NCAA rules. Everybody's like, what? Go away.
Yeah.
Go away, NCAA. Like, nobody's paying attention to you anymore. And they have no teeth.
Yeah. And also too, I mean, I'm sure you might have missed it last week when you were in hibernation on the vacation. But Jimbo Fisher comes out and goes off on NIL and on the whole system. God. And everybody's like, bro, nobody wants to hear it from you.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear it from you.
What's he complaining about?
Why is everybody complaining? Embrace the damn thing. You just, at some point, you got to just embrace it. Stop complaining.
And the coaches that are like, oh, we're not buying our players. Well, yeah, you are.
You are.
And why are you denying it? Like, I mean, why would you deny it? I'd be out there like, yeah, we're buying players. Come play with us. We got money. Come on over. Why would you be denying it? We bought our class. Yeah, damn right we did. And we're going to buy some more.
It's the ego of the coach. It's the ego of the coach.
Stupid.
It's the ego of the coach. They want to be seen as, oh, well, I'm actually a really good recruiter. I'm actually a really good coach.
It's not about the money.
They're coming here because they believe in me and they believe in this program.
How about that? How are they doing now? They're all gone. Because when you make it about money, guess what? Somebody always has more. Yeah, that's kind of how it works. And if you're bringing in guys that are just chasing money, then you know what? You're probably not going to be a very good football team. Your culture is not going to be very good. What do we say at Texas A&M? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, there's other perspectives. Like I was.
By the way, why'd the coach leave?
What was that?
Why did Jimbo Fisher leave? Florida State? Chasing the money.
Literally
chasing the money. Yeah, you get goes around, comes around, and we'll see how that program flourishes under Jimbo Fisher.
Flourishes, huh?
Yeah, flourishes. I gave him 5 years, and now they're gonna, and they gave him an extension too, right?
Oh yeah, like he signed to like 2031 or 2032, something, and making like 10 million north of 10 million a year, guaranteed.
A lot of oil money.
Can't keep coordinators around. I mean,
well, if not that you can't be yelled at in football, it's part of it, but he's just over the top. Completely over.
No, I think everybody's figured out that he's probably just a good coach who was propped up by an all-time quarterback,
an all-time team. The talent on that 2013 team.
I mean,
my God,
I'm not trying to turn this.
He recruited a lot of it.
Yeah, he's a hell of a recruiter.
But the brand recruited a lot of it too back then. Florida State. It wasn't just Jimbo Fisher.
But he's a hell. Look what he's done to A&M from a recruiting standpoint. He's a hell of a recruiter. I get that, but
is it the money or is it Jimbo?
From a on the field standpoint, underwhelming.
Win. Yeah, he's always been, even at Florida State, we always had issues with him as not a great game coach. The way he treats his quarterbacks.
Archaic offense is how I would use it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not working. I don't think it's going to get a lot better either. It's trending downward, as they say. And it's hard to get out of that death spiral. But I think it is, when Scott talks about the adults in the room, who are the adults in the room? And they've never done anything, in college football. It's always been about the them making the money and not the players. And now they've been forced to pay the players. And now there's actually this push and pull between the university and their sponsors taking money, sending the money to the university, and the boosters putting the money into the NIL to pay the players directly. So now you have a lot of friction between your actual boosters who want to give the money to the players, and a lot of the universities like, hey, what about our foundation? We still need money over here to run the program. So it's like these big money boosters are like, well, who do I give the check to?
Yep.
And they're tired of that crap already. So yeah, there's got to be a czar put in place, and I don't want the czar to be some freaking politician.
No.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Give me, maybe that should be a homework assignment. Let's come up with who we think, give us the top 10 czars of college football to fix this thing.
It's like the people they used to put on the CFP committee,
yes,
like
Condoleezza Rice.
This is laughable, man. All this money in this sport and all these brains everywhere that everybody could pick out, and we're picking politicians to pick football games.
I like Condoleezza Rice. She's awesome, but like on the college football playoff committee? No, get some people that have been involved in college football, that have been coaches, administrators, and vet them.
I will say, though, I know we're talking about it right now, but remember when the season started and I said, I'm so happy that I don't have to talk about NIL anymore. I don't have to talk about any of this.
We're getting to that time again.
Here we go. It's bowl season. It's recruiting season. And here we go. The next 8 months, this is all anybody's going to be talking about.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some Lightning hockey with our good friend Brian Bradley. Nice win last night. Where does that Brayden Point goal rank going through 4 Canadians last night? Is it better than the one against the Kraken? We'll ask Brian Bradley, goal scorer of his own, where that one ranks. We're brought to you by BAMMC.com, and that was the Gator Report, brought to you by the great folks at Jeeves Law Group. And if you, they will remind you, do not drink and drive on the holidays. The Wolfpack squads are out there. Not a good idea. If something were to happen, though, call the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. And by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, if you want to lose some weight after the holidays, that's the way to go. Personalized medical program, BAMMC.com. Back in 3 with Brian Bradley.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance, because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah. So call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years. (294-7595) or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others. 888-325-0605.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Want to lose weight, build some muscle, get back in the groove? Testosterone replacement therapy is what you need. I've been doing that for quite some time, and it is a game changer. But if you're a man like Brian Bradley, you don't need testosterone replacement because you got plenty of it. He's a stud even still today, and it's 90s night, so we'll be celebrating some of the Brian Bradley goals tonight at Ambly Arena. What's up, Brads? How you doing, buddy?
Good, JP. How are you doing today, buddy?
Fantastic. Big win last night by the boys over Montreal, La Habitants, and that Brayden Point goal, man, I don't know if it was better than the one against the Kraken, or, last night he went through 4 guys. The Kraken when he went through 3 guys, but a little faster. Which one is better? Which one did you like more?
Last night was amazing. I mean, you know what? I thought Brayden Point, he's played exceptionally well. The last month or two of the season. I mean, he's taking his game to a different level.
Yes.
JP. Just love the way he's skating with the puck, making plays. I mean, we all talk about Kucherov and Stamkos' shot, but sometimes Brayden kind of goes in like he's hidden in the limelight a bit. But he's a hell of a player. I mean, the first goal he scored was good, but then the second one, that was just a highlight reel goal. That was like a full speed, got the puck just over the line, walked in and just, deked a couple guys out, went under the stick, and made a great shot on the goalie. I mean, not many guys can do it at that pace.
Yeah, that was just that was incredible, and he started to put himself up among the elite scorers in this league with moves like that, right? I mean, it's not just the numbers you put up, but I mean, sometimes we watch Connor McDavid do things, and you're just like, man, that's just off the charts. But I'm starting to see Brayden Point do the same things I'm seeing from Connor McDavid. Is that too much hype?
No, not at all. You know what? I think he can be up there. I think sometimes a guy like him can sit in the weeds, and I think he can be better than what he is. Because sometimes when you got Kucherov and Stamkos on your team, it deflects a lot of the superstar power. And I think he's got just as much power as those guys, but sometimes he's just got to believe in himself. I mean, I think if he goes out there, he can score 40, 50 goals in this league. He's got a game that not many guys can do. And you know what? It showed it last night. I mean, he's got 18 and 19 on the season. I mean, he's having a terrific year. So, I mean, you know what? Like I said, we beat Montreal 4-1. To me, it wasn't really a close game. I mean, you know what? The 3 stars of the game were Point, Vasilevsky, and Hedman. I thought they were actually great picks.
Yeah.
I mean, Point was my favorite player. Vasilevsky, the only thing disappointing in the game last night, JP, is I wish Vazzy would have had the shutout. I mean, he deserved it. He played well. I mean, they had 26 shots on goal or, whatever. He had one, at the end of the game with 3 or 4 minutes to go. I mean, but then, Victor Hedman, to me, a 3rd star. I thought Victor Hedman played one of his best games of the season. Maybe having the 4 or 5 days off and the rest, he rejuvenated it. But he looked good. He looked sharp. He looked excellent last night, Victor Hedman.
Yeah, and he got 2 assists last night, and that's kind of what we need from Victor. His game has not been up to Victor Hedman standards, which is, Norris Trophy, best defensive player in the game, best defenseman in the game. Hasn't been up to those standards, and now it's starting to get there. And how important can that be to this team if we can start getting Victor Hedman to play like Victor Hedman?
Oh yeah, no question about it. JP, I mean, Victor Hedman's a huge part of the team. We have a veteran team. We've got what are we, 21-11? I mean, we look good. You know what? At the end of the day, we've been to the Stanley Cup 3 years in a row. I mean, you know what? It's everything's falling into place, and we're getting better every game. We didn't start the season well, and I think Vasilevsky's starting to get his game back. Hedman's getting a little bit better. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we just got to keep playing this way. It's a long season, like I said. You know what? It starts in training camp. You get the preseason, and then you work your way up. And as the year goes on, you get better and better. And these guys know when they need to ramp it up. They're getting ready to ramp it up. I mean, the New Year's is coming in, and you know what? They start the second half of the season comes into play, and that's when you start preparing for the playoffs. So the team like this, they know what they need to do. They've been there. They won 2 Stanley Cups in the last 3 years. So, you know what? They're going to be right there when we need to be. And you know what? They're just starting to align themselves perfectly.
Steven Stamkos sitting on 497 goals, and we're all just kind of waiting for him to hit that milestone. And he's gone 5 scoreless now. He had like a 10-game stretch earlier in the year where he didn't score. When you're coming up on a milestone as big as that, and I think what was the number you mentioned yesterday, JP? How many players have done it?
46.
46 players in the history have done it, 500 goals. When you're coming up to a milestone like that, do you kind of start maybe pressing a little bit as a player and maybe putting more pressure on yourself? And maybe that's why he might be going on some of these like scoreless streaks this season.
Well, you know what? I mean, Steven Stamkos is a great captain. He's a great leader. I mean, he's going to be a first-time Hall of Fame ballot. I mean, to me, the 1,000th point is great. I mean, he's going to play his 1,000th game. To me, that's another great milestone. Yeah. But to me, the one that I honestly like 500 goals in the NHL. 46 players to ever do that. That's an elite super class. I mean, I played with Lanny McDonald in Calgary. Joe Newendike and Joey Mullen in Calgary did it. I mean, obviously Andrew Chuck has did it here with Buffalo and Tampa and stuff like that. But those are crazy numbers when you get talk about 500 goals. Brett Hall I played with. So, I mean, he's going to be right up there. When you look at 500, then you look at Ovechkin's got going on 800. That's unbelievable. Yeah, but I mean, Steven's going to get it. It's a matter of when. Maybe he can get one tonight, and you know what? Wrap it up maybe against Arizona on the weekend or whatever. But it's win. He's too good a player, trust me. So at the end of the day, you know what? You just got to keep grinding away and moving forward.
Brian Bradley joining us here. You mentioned Vasilevsky. His save percentage, I think, through November was under 900. In December, I think it's been up around 943. Last night, he was tremendous again, especially early on in that power play that Montreal had early on. They got some shots, but after the game, I was doing the post-game interview. He was coming down the tunnel, and he was pissed off. He slammed his stick. He was the second star. He didn't even come out and do the twirl around. He was pissed that he lost the shutout, and I like that. Vassy's starting to get ornery. Do you think he plays tonight in the back-to-back, or do they go to Elliott?
I think he goes tonight. I really do. I don't know what's happening, because obviously I don't think they skated today.
Yeah.
But I really think that I think they go Vazzy tonight, and they do Elliott against Arizona on Saturday afternoon, and then they go on the road. So that means Vazzy's going to have game tonight, which is Thursday. He's going to have 4 or 5 days off before we play again. So I like him. The Rangers are good. They're starting to play better. They always have good, Shesterkin in goals, an exceptional goalie. They're well coached. They've got Panarin. They've got, Zibanejad, and he always plays well against us. It seems like that guy scores 2 goals. Yep. If he played us every game, he'd score 150 goals a year. I like that guy.
Yeah. Zibanejad's got a great shot, and their power play it got the best of us, I think, last time, if I'm remembering correctly. So, but this should be a fun game tonight. The Rangers they're still in the second wild card. They're not where they thought they should be. This was supposed to be another year where they're a top 4 cup contender, and we really haven't seen that. They're not playing terrible, but they're not playing, I think, the way that they want to play. And they just got beat up by Washington the other night. Gerard Gallant got really, really pissed off in the post-game press conference. So I'm expecting them to come out with a lot of jam. But I'm also expecting the Lightning to come out with it. They know what they're up against tonight. And I think they want to send a message. What do you think we see tonight?
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, just the great points you just talked about right there. I mean, you know what? They played the other night in Washington, lost 4-0. Anytime you lose on the road, whether it's on the road or at home, 4-0, they're going to be ready. I mean, they outshot Washington 32-30, but they lost 4-0, so they're going to be firing tonight. You know what I mean? And the Rangers got a good record. I mean, let's be honest, they're 19-12. That's a good record, but they got embarrassed in Washington. They didn't get a goal. I mean, anytime you don't score, people are pissed off in the organization. And you know what? I know they're going to be ready to go tonight. They were here yesterday, so they're going to be well rested compared to us playing last night against Montreal.
All right, Brads, listen, I will see you tonight for tonight's festivities. Hope you had a great holiday and a great Christmas, and we look forward to let me ask you a question, Brad. What's your favorite Christmas present you ever got? As a kid or as an adult? What was your favorite Christmas present you ever got? Probably a pair of skates.
No, you know what? I think growing up, I'm going to tell you, when growing up in just outside of Toronto, Kitchener, I got one year my parents got me Tony Esposito goalie pads and blocker and catcher, because I'm a right-handed. I'm not the normal. I'm like the other way. So I catch with my right hand. So Tony Esposito was the same way. So for me, to get the Tony Esposito goalie pads and mask and catcher and blocker, I mean, I'll never forget that. I wanted to be goalie in street hockey every day after that.
That's got to be awesome. All right, Brad.
Yeah.
Good stuff, my man. We'll see you tonight at the arena. Thanks, buddy.
See you, JP. Over and out. Go Bolts. Hi, man.
I could just see him in his goalie pads and everything. Turns out to be one of the great scorers in Lightning history, and he wanted to be a goalie. Guess they all wanted to be a goalie at one point or another, huh? All right, yeah, good game tonight. Looking forward to the festivities. It's 90s night.
Oh, I love 90s night. You know who was wearing a 90s jersey last night, right?
Who's that? Evan Longoria. Evan Longoria did the Tesla coils last night.
So keep up with me here.
Yeah.
In the last week, we've spotted Evan Longoria at Enchanted at the Trop.
At the Trop.
He lighted he did the Tesla coils at the Lightning game, taking pictures with everybody.
And the whole family, yeah.
Looked so excited.
Yeah.
And then sources tell me this morning.
Sources.
Good sources,
90% chance.
No, I think slightly higher than that. A little slightly higher than 90% chance. Sources tell me that he was at the La Segunda Bakery this morning, having coffee and breakfast. And it's the St. Pete location, which, if you're not familiar with, is 5 minutes down the road from the Trop.
Oh, interesting.
Coincidence?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Does he still live here? Still have a house here?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I mean, he's been here for a good bit now. He's still got duckies, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
And you see all those people that were so excited that he was there at the game last night. Everybody's excited to see him again.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm telling you, I feel like this happens all the time. We appreciate these great players like after the fact. We don't do it in the moment.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like at the end of Longoria's career, we were all kind of saying like, okay, he's a good player, but maybe it's time to move on. He's clearly like in a little bit of a decline. And now it's like 5 years later. Clearly he's been in decline for a while now, but we're still clamoring to see him come back. And we're just kind of saying, yeah, he's the greatest Ray of all time, and it's undisputed, and we just want to see him here again.
Yeah, I mean, nostalgia has no room in building a team. Sorry, it just doesn't. And of all the organizations out there that absolutely craps on nostalgia or anything to do with their,
it's time to turn.
The Rays are number one in that.
It's time to turn that around.
Because our old timers game at the Rays is just terrible. Oh, wait, we don't have one. We never have had one. I mean, there's just an absolute indifference, not even only indifference, but Wade Boggs has told me that, if he calls up and asks for, to get a pass to go see some players or something, it's like, yeah, no. What organization does that? With a few Hall of Famers from your area got his 3,000 hit in your uniform. And you
retired, no?
Disrespect them like that. I can't get a pass to see some guys.
Well,
I mean, come on.
Clearly, it's time to reverse that here.
Well, yeah, you think? Yeah, it would be nice. But again, we're not bringing guys back for nostalgia reasons. We shouldn't be doing that. Sorry. We can have an old timers game and do it.
Well, we need a platoon over there at third. You could use a platoon.
If you want to give me some numbers and make the case that he can help the team win, we'll do it. I mean, we've been paying him $5 million a year. He's been one of our highest paid players for the past 4 or 5 years. And
That's true.
People don't know that, but yeah, we have been. Yeah, seriously.
Listen, I
would at least like to have him in a uniform. Getting something out of it.
You could probably get average production out of Longoria at this point in his career. Average production, still a good glove at third.
Yeah.
All those things, great locker room feel, and I just feel like it ignites the fan base a little bit. I think it's more about that. I just want something that's good for the fan base to happen. So I can't go in there and tell you that he's going to come in and hit 20 home runs and drive in 80 runs. I got nothing that supports that he's going to do that.
Right.
I just want him here. I mean, that's all it is. It's honestly an emotional thing. I mean, you pulled up his numbers from last year there.
You got a .6 WAR.
He didn't play that many games.
No. 14 home runs and 266 at bats. I mean, that translates into almost 30 home runs a year.
That's really not even.
You lead the.
No, I just said I'm not expecting him to come in at 20 home runs. If he gets 400 something at bats right there, it's 20 home runs.
If he doubled these numbers,
look at the OPS plus is 114.
You'd be at 28 home runs, 84 RBIs. I mean, my God, yeah, you're the best hitter on the Rays team right now. Seriously.
Yeah. Right here, top 24. Longoria has a value to this young team, leadership and experience.
Oh, and they're missing that.
It's something this team has severely lacked. Plus, it'll get the fans excited, and hopefully attendance will pick up.
Listen, there's no question about that. Where's the leadership in this locker room right now? Where's it coming from? Randy Arozarena and Yandy Diaz?
I think Glasnow is the alpha.
With a throwdown in the parking lot? Are those your leaders right now? Glasnow, yeah, absolutely.
He's the alpha.
Yeah. What happens when they trade?
Oh my gosh, get off the damn! You're not trading guys. They're not trading Tyler Glasnow.
Oh no, they'd never do that. Yeah. So, do we need to hit another break? One more break?
Yeah, we can hit one more break.
One more break, and then we come back and we'll
one topic I had to get into.
The Derek Carr benching. Could he be the next quarterback for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Let's bounce that around a little bit. People are like, oh no, could do worse. Could do a hell of a lot worse than Derek Carr. And they just might do a hell of a lot worse. We don't know, but we'll talk about it next. Quick break. Back in 3. Oh, Merry Christmas. Santa Claus here for the Golden Diamond Source. All right, it's JP. The holidays are the best time for engagements, right? And where better to get that special ring than the Golden Diamond Source? They have the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. So avoid all the mall madness and the parking and all that BS and stay local, right? With the Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub are the family jewelers, and they'll treat you like family. And, of course, they do so many great things in the community. I was just at their Hands Across the Bay, a charity event. So many people stepped up to give money for these women that have been victims of domestic abuse. It is something to behold when these women come forward and talk about what Julie and Steve have done for them, and the Golden Diamond Source funds Hands Across the Bay, and so many other great companies jump in. That's what it's all about, community, right? So let's keep it local for the holidays. If you want a perfect gift for the holidays, you should check out the unique and beautiful handcrafted jewelry from the Emilique and Julieve collections that feature fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry. And don't forget, for the holidays only, 3 to 5 year interest-free financing. It's a no-brainer for the holidays. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Are you concerned your spouse might be cheating, or want to locate a long-lost relative or love? Or a missing person and the police are not helping? An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, lead investigator Zach D'Antonio, a former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Italiano Insurance, and the Golden Diamond Source. Their after Christmas sale is on, so if you got some gift cards, get on over there and snap up some of those great deals they got going on over at the Gold and Diamond Source. Great time to buy. You know, everybody gets gift cards these days, so go spend them now. With the prices are down, sales everywhere. Go to the Golden Diamond Source, get something shiny and new you'll absolutely love. Great folks over there. Tell them JP sent you to the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, just over the bridge if you're coming from Tampa. All right, practice update today from the Buccaneers. Vita Vea is practicing today. According to Greg Auman, helmet in hand, which bodes well for Sunday. He was a limited participant Wednesday. So good to see Vita Vea out there. That's the best news, really. Tristan Wirfs also practicing today, and Donovan Smith. So it looks like both those guys are going to go. Carl Nassib practicing today. Jamel Dean was there but did not participate, according to Greg Auman. Carlton Davis, shoulder, not out there during the media window. And Raheem Nunez-Roches missed Wednesday's practice for personal reasons. Maybe a late arrival, but was not out there during the media window. That would be a loss against you're going to need your depth this week against the Panthers. You're probably going to run the ball about 45, 50 times in the game. So especially with Vita being banged up with a calf injury, you're going to need all your guys, all your depth this weekend. So, and Ryan Jensen out there practicing with the offensive line, but he will not play this week, according to Todd Bowles. Brady took a Veteran Day off today, but we'll be speaking to the media a little bit later on, along with Byron Leftwich.
Lunchtimes with Byron. I love him every Thursday.
Byron, yes, absolutely. Going to be great. So we'll enjoy that live. Which I don't know if I'll be able to get over there. I got to work on another project, but I wish they did Zoom today. I'd definitely get on the Zoom.
Yep.
So you wanted to opine about Derek Carr. The floor is yours, my friend.
So Derek Carr benched yesterday for the last two games by Josh McDaniels for
Josh McDaniels
for Jared Stidham. Jared Stidham, who, according to Josh McDaniels, we want to get a look at Jared Stidham, who's been in the league for like 4 or 5 years, and we know what he is. He's just a backup, and probably not even a good one at that.
And they're still in the hunt for the playoff spot remotely.
They would have to beat the Chiefs and 49ers to get in, so it's close to zero, but there's still a shot. Whatever. That's not the point. Derek Carr has been in this league for 9 years. He's had six head coaches in 9 years. God knows how many coordinators he's had to work with, how many quarterback coaches. This is a unstable franchise. It has been for the better part of the last 15, 20 years, I'd argue.
Yes.
And all this guy has come in and showed leadership and class. And I think he's a pretty damn good player. He's had MVP. He finished third in MVP voting in 2016. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. You look at his numbers and you look at the final, you might go, oh, wow, I didn't know Derek had that. I think he's a really good football player. And he's had to deal with so much. And even more so, he's had to answer for so many other people's things that they've done. And because he's the quarterback and the leader of the team, he's had to get up in front of the podium when John Gruden did the whole email thing.
Yep.
He had to stand in front of the podium and answer those questions. And he handled it with leadership.
Yes, he did.
He handled it with class. When Henry Ruggs got charged with murder in the driving thing, he had to stand up there as the quarterback and the leader of the team. And what did he do? He showed leadership and class. He's had to deal with that turmoil for the last decade of the decade of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how he gets repaid. Benched for Jared Stidham and sent home, by the way, at that. Not even with the team. He's going home.
I heard he was taking a leave of absence. It sounded like he was leaving.
And he
the
did that.
After
he did that not to be a distraction. So it wouldn't be a distraction to the team. Okay. So, but the point is here, this is Josh McDaniels is a first-year head coach here in Las Vegas. And to make a move like this, to me, it's incredibly disingenuous to Derek Carr for everything he's done for the 9 years. I mean, even with all that turmoil last year, they go to the playoffs. They went to the playoffs still with an interim head coach because Derek Carr was playing really good.
Yeah.
And then this year, his numbers are down. Well,
if there's anybody that should be benched based on, where this team was and where they are this year,
why can't we
bench Josh McDaniels?
Can we start benching head coaches?
Yeah, he needs to be benched.
Why is Derek Carr getting the blame for the Raiders' incompetence?
Well, I think he's probably trying to take the focus off himself, Josh McDaniels. And people are going to go, well, look at, he's 14 interceptions. I think it's close to the most in the NFL, or if not the most.
He threw that last year. Yeah. Made the playoffs.
Yeah. But also, it's a guy that's been a career 65% passer. You talked about the 2016 year. I mean, it averages almost 4,000 yards a year, at 4,800 last year in that hell of a season.
And also too, who's on the other side of the door? Because there's no coming back from this. You're not just going to say, "Oh, come back, Derek. We'll see you next year." We're not doing that.
This is the Brady.
This is
play.
over.
Is this the Brady play? Josh McDaniels and Brady have worked so well together for many years.
I mean, people are going to run to that all they want, but I can't see it.
Of course they are.
But I mean, there's just no coming back from this. I mean, the cap implications, I get it. If you cut Derek Carr, you save like $29 million.
I think it's $40 million.
Yeah,
it's $40 million next year.
Yeah, but if you cut him after the season, you save like a lot of money against your cap. I get it, but. And also, too, I mean, Davante Adams is very obviously frustrated with this move because he even said to the media yesterday and went on Twitter, I came here because of Derek.
Yeah.
He left Aaron Rodgers for Derek Carr. He left Aaron Rodgers for Derek Carr because he believed in him, his college quarterback, all that stuff.
A lot of money.
I think the relationship between those guys is pretty tight.
Yeah, from college, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't like quarterbacks like that who've given everything to organization, have been the face of the franchise, and have had to deal with all that stuff just being kicked to the curb. It reminds me of like Eli Manning, how, what's his face? Ben McAdoo did him when he benched him when he had that 260 win streak.
Yeah.
For what? For what?
Well, listen, I agree with you. And people are going to say, oh, I don't want Derek Carr. I don't want Derek Carr. Okay, well, who you getting? Who you getting? If Brady leaves, who you getting?
Derek Carr is I mean, he's just a great guy, number one.
He's a hell of a leader.
Don't have to worry about him. He's a hell of a leader, and I think he can play.
I do too.
He's a lot better than a lot of other options out there. Yeah. He'd be the number one quarterback on the free agent market.
I would agree with that.
Outside of Brady.
Yeah.
All right, let's not get crazy here. I love Derek Carr, but let's not get crazy here.
Well, Derek, I mean, it depends on what kind of offense you're going to run.
Yeah, it all depends on it. But if I know a lot of Bucs fans, he's very divisive, and everybody's split on Derek Carr. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't hate it. I actually would like it.
Where's the Raiders offense in terms of points per game compared to the Bucs?
The Raiders offense?
Yeah.
Let me get it.
I'm just, we're kicking it around here. Who's the next guy? Do you want to really draft a quarterback and go through that? Or would you rather try to build a team around a decent free agent quarterback? That's the way the Bucs have won their 2 Super Bowls, not by drafting a quarterback. The Bucs have wasted a lot of time and a lot of years drafting a quarterback.
12th best offense in the league.
Oh, where are the Bucs? 27th in scoring? Okay. All right. Yeah. And he's got Davante Adams and there's a couple weapons there, no doubt.
A lot of injuries. Waller hasn't hardly played.
That's right.
Renfro's been hurt.
Yeah, so he's done all right with what he's working with.
Yeah,
especially with Josh McDaniels, who is completely unproven as a head coach.
Yeah, and Derek Carr's numbers go down when Josh McDaniels gets there.
That's right. And last year, most of the year, he was that was a crap show last year.
Yeah,
between Gruden and Bisaccia coming in,
he navigated that team to 10 wins.
Unbelievable. And then in this year, the quarterback rating is down. Not that bad. 6 points, 6-8 points.
And this isn't one of those, when I say he's a nice guy and he's a leader, this isn't one of those things like Russell Wilson where you almost feel like you could see through Russell a little bit.
Yeah.
Derek Carr's
he's
genuine.
An authentic dude.
Derek Carr,
absolutely.
I mean, people make fun of Derek Carr because he cries on the field. Well, he cares.
They care, yeah. I don't have a problem with that. They know he cares. No doubt about it. And we have a lot of time to debate who the next quarterback will be for the Buccaneers. That's for damn sure. But this weekend, it's going to be Tom Brady. And we will break down that even more tomorrow. We hope to have a guest from the Carolina media to join us tomorrow to talk Panther football, and we'll have some other surprises for you as well. So if you missed anything today, we want to thank Pat Burnham, who was really, really good on Florida State today. If you missed that, go back and check that out. Scott Carter from the Gators, fantastic on their new recruiting class and where the Gators are heading. Our Jeeves Law Group, Gator Report, and Brian Bradley, always fun to chat with him about the the Bolts, who will welcome in the Rangers tonight, 7 o'clock. I'll be doing the post game on 102.5 The Bone afterwards with Brian Engblom, so catch that as well. And we will see you at Emily. Go Bolts.